Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Super Castlevania 4, run by Varouche on Bourg La Run. Super Castlevania 4 is a awesome, fun game. Everyone should play it. You're gonna see
Indeed.
Varouche pick up whip upgrade, cross, and a triple upgrade for the cross pretty soon here. First couple screens of the game.
You're going to be seeing Rouge taking a lot of damage boosts because there's no other way to go faster besides that in this game.
Yeah, Simon's kind of stuck at a strut. I mean, he looks pretty cool going through the stage like that, but it is kind of slow.
Yeah.
By the way, I am Drunken Draconian and joined by ShinDavid07. And Varouche is the player running right now. He's number 4 in the leaderboard and top player of the 32 time slot.
Yep. We also had a couple of tournaments, the 2 past tournaments. He's the winner of last year's and 4th place of this year's tournament for Super Castlevania 4.
Yeah, that's right. Just overall really solid player.
Yeah.
Taking some horsehead boosts there just because the skeleton didn't give him a boost earlier. Health is basically what JC likes to call it is boost fuel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anytime you get boosted forward, it saves like a few points of a second or so. So the majority of the time, if you have the health to do it, you're going to be using a damage boost in one way, shape, or form. Later in the game, it's going to help quite a bit, especially where there's spikes and other dangerous enemies lurking.
Coming up here is the very first boss, Rodane.
Was that a boss?
Was that a boss? I don't know. Speaking of bosses, having the triple cross here is the most ideal sub weapon that you have, and it's the only weapon that you get to use.
Yeah, you really want to hope that you don't lose your cross or triple. The way that sub weapon upgrades work in this game is if you pick up another sub weapon, you're going to reset your multiplier. So not picking up the wrong candle is ideal. Otherwise, it's going to take you a bit to find another cross, and then another little bit of time to build your triple back up.
Coming over here is stage 2. The stage is pretty simple. The only thing that you actually have to do is just in this stage is just keep mindful about it, not to do anything that is out of the ordinary. Well, besides that, I see Rouge, but it's nothing like major mistakes in an actual speedruns.
Yeah, Simon's fat head got in the way, that's all.
Yeah.
Unlike in Castlevania 1, which this game is loosely based on, Simon's hitbox is his whole body and not just his feet. So it's very possible to smack your head when you're trying to go for a jump. And later on in the game, it's not going to be so forgiving with floor to catch you. Yeah, Varouche is on health route here, though. 2 spider boosts and a bat boost leading up to the Medusa fight. So he should be clear to take the rest of the boosts for the stage as long as Medusa doesn't get a little bit too frisky.
Sorry. Coming up here is the boss for stage 2, but I don't know.
Still not sure if it's a boss.
I'm still not sure if it's a boss or not. I really don't know. This game here is just like, hey, hi, goodbye. That's it.
Yeah, it really just goes to show how broken Triple Cross is in this game. Like, all the sub-weapons are alright, except for the dagger. Dagger is kind of a troll sub-weapon, so if you pick it up, it's kind of just going to wreck your day for the most part. It's so weak. But Triple Cross, you can just melt bosses away.
As you can see, Rouge in this one here, he's just going along with the he's going along with the current. He's going to really going with the current will go really quick, especially in this screen. So it's normally faster, and then at a certain point of the game, certain point it'll start going against you, which you'll see him jumping, which is really good for time saving for attempts.
Yeah, one of the only points in the game where you can actually move a little bit faster than intended.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Verush is on to stage 3 now. Mudman Central. Stage 3 kind of has 3 main sections for it. The cave section, the climb, and then the ruins. In this cave section here, oh no. The Mudmen. Oh, the Mudmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mudmen can be pretty random, and without nearly frame perfect inputs, getting past them with minimal damage is kind of tough. Quickly, that is. You can just lose a little bit of time and kill them, but it's not really what you'd like to do. Yeah. First down to 4 pips here. That's pretty low. They'll just
Really
have to
low.
take this next section pretty safely.
Indeed. Speaking about the Mudments, it's a really good thing he did do the he was like break the Mudments down, because if he didn't break it down, he would have taken 4 damage instead of 3.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. So, of course, with Simon having 16 picks of help, if you do the math, you don't want to have all that coming into the end game. Oh.
Yeah, Bruce was going for the ring glitch there. Luckily for him, there's a cross, and he's going to be able to at least build up a double on this screen, I think. It looks like he's going to work on building up a double and getting long whip as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, having the long whip on this screen will help make the ring glitch a little bit easier. You could still do the ring glitch with a small whip, but you just got to take a little different route. But you could just take the little left, which it's good for different categories of the game, and not just 80% as you see in this one here. For low percentage, though, the strat that you see Rouge did is the intended route for it as well.
Yeah, you need the extra couple links in the chain whip for the longer whip in order to be able to make it up to the top platform. But with the proper setup, you can still hit it pretty well. Vicious coming right at his face.
Coming
right up. Eyeball boost coming up.
So the eyeball boost does cut down some time to advance on. And of course, the stairs. One of the few things about Castlevania in this game is a bit stairs. Sometimes Simon, especially for Simon here, he's just like, how does stairs work? Because sometimes you get stuck, and sometimes he just falls through over the staircase and you fall to your death, especially on certain points of the game.
It can be pretty brutal. For falling through stairs, if that does happen, generally you just kind of travel in between the 2 steps, and your fall animation kind of carries you through. Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
There, solid ring glitch.
So the only thing he still needs is to get a triple cross, which he successfully gets it.
Yeah, you really want the triple for this boss. It just makes him die a lot quicker. You can make do with the double, but you're going to lose a little bit of time if that happens.
Yeah. And this is the stage 3 sub-boss. Well, it's a boss, but
I'd give it a boss.
Yeah. Does he earn? I don't know if he earns that title yet. Well, he earns the title if you don't have a triple cross. Yeah.
Stage 4 is kind of a madness stage.
It's one of
It
the
was-
longer stage in this game.
Yeah. It shows off a lot of Super Nintendo features, like the Mode 7 room coming up pretty soon. Rotating room. Even the boss himself is Mode 7. It's kind of a showcase of the system, like I said. After getting a boss in the middle of stage 3 too, you get another one in the middle of this stage.
Yeah.
Good old Mr. Quexel.
Shoutouts to him. Pretty solid fight right there.
Yeah. The main thing about that fight is not necessarily watching out during the fight, but as soon as the fight's over, there's often a peanut that'll fall from the ceiling and try and hit you. So you have to have pretty good heads-up gameplay to avoid getting hit by that guy, especially if you're low in health.
Mm-hmm. And we're in here with the rotating room. For some of the others, is a coffee room for most people. It's
Yeah,
where
it's-
we get. It's basically the room where we get just to chill out a little bit here, just recollect our thoughts, and be able to go on. The thing about the Medusas in this room, they kind of spawn where eye level, where Simon is at. Just by crouching, it shrinks the hitbox for Simon, and they'll just go under you, no problems.
Yeah, you can cut that pretty close getting out of the rotating room. You can actually get there quick enough that the loading zone hasn't even loaded in yet. It can seem a little bit scary, but as long as you don't let go of the ring too soon and land on the spikes, then you're doing pretty good. A death in that room is super costly, though.
Yes, yeah. Taking a death there, you got to redo the whole rotating room, and and that'll take up more time than needed. All right.
Made it through that room pretty easily. It's not too tough as long as you move the same way every time. The skeletons in the rotating room, the room prior to where he's in right now, spawn based on your position. And incoming zip. Fingers crossed.
Ooh. Looks
Looks
like
good.
it's good. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this is probably the biggest time save in the whole game. Saves a good 8 to 10 seconds, depending on the zip setup you go for. And for a game like this, that's a really big chunk of time. Like, if you want any time below sub 33, you're really going to want to learn the zip and become very comfortable with it.
All right. Here we go. We got the core knot here. Yeah, the big golem just, gets shredded. Just like every other boss so far.
Yeah, ideally you'd want to kill him on a certain cycle where you can ride one of the side platforms up and attempt to catch the orb early, save another few seconds.
Yep.
But with that behind us, we're on to stage 5.
Yeah. Stage 5.
Lots of random harpies.
Random harpies. This stage is actually one of the shortest. Is actually the shortest stage in this game.
Yeah.
The only real boss is the actual time limit. I say that now. I say that now because yeah, that harpy
was really close. The harpies can be real annoying. It's just the beginning and the end of this one screen here, but they just spawn randomly in front of you and behind you at any height, so they could be look really high right in your face.
Yeah.
Handles it well. Doesn't get any crazy spawns.
He's taking all the damage boosts that he needs here, and that's all the necessary damage boosts that he'll need. Got a little piece of meat just in case.
Yeah, after that bat that Bruce just killed, there's no enemies left.
Mm-hmm. In hard mode, there'll be modes, which is the second loop, after the normal one hit people attempt. I know you're the master of the hard mode right there. DD
I
himself right
wouldn't go
here.
as far as master, but it's
Uh,
definitely a challenge.
but it is a challenge. No, just defend. Yeah, that guy. That guy, he's really good for that. But you're the one who plays the both modes a lot of times.
Yeah, low percent hard mode.
Hard mode.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe D'Amelio is definitely the champ of hard mode with all of his new strats and everything. He made a really good run, which is pretty much unbeatable until someone spends a good 10,000 hours practicing.
Yeah. We're here in stage 6 here. We're part of the chandeliers here.
Yeah, chandelier death is pretty costly. It's about a minute and a half.
Yep.
He was trying to show everyone at least a 2 cycle, if not a 1 cycle. But the jumps to get a 1 or 2 cycle are very tight. You often have to use music cues, and if you're off by even a little bit, it's, well, certain death.
Yeah. Really costly there. Luckily, though, after this chandelier screen, there's a secret room that you could actually access to get the cross back and build your way to a triple. But the thing about that secret rooms that you can only access once a game, or once a game until you game over or you beat the game, of course.
Yeah, it looks like a 2 cycle here. You got a few extra stumble frames, which is something that happens in this game where if you fall from a height of, I think, 3 tiles, then Simon sort of kneels down, crouches down a little bit, and stumbles. Slows you down just a tiny bit. Here's the secret room. Enjoy the secret room music, too.
Yeah, you only get to listen to this in the secret room, of course. Just gonna grab the extra meat here. Get the meat and slowly build that triple. Get that double right now.
Yeah, triple always shows up after you take care of the ectoplasms. Because it's going to be 3 hits per ectoplasm. Nice. That section that Farouche just went through where you kill the 2 ectoplasms the second time is really tough to get without losing forward momentum.
Yep. Farouche is going to take the little damage boost here to cut through a decent part of time. A decent part of the little stage there, saving you a good 4 or 5 seconds. Right there. Stage 6 is definitely a little bit long, a little bit longer than usual. Coming right up, it will be the skeleton hallway. You'll see the introduction of the red skeleton in this stage.
Yeah.
In this game, yes.
Definitely catches you off guard, too, if you end up face-to-face with the red skeleton. You kind of expect to get hit for 2 or 3, but no, they hit you for 4 pips of health. So they can chew through your health very, very quickly. And after this screen that Farouche is on now, there's going to be the coffins, and to get through the coffins quickly is really precise and quite difficult, so let's see if you can get that.
Yep. Just gonna take the damage boost there. That's got
it looks good.
It's good. 2 hits. You could actually get there with just 1, but 2 is normally perfectly fine, especially with you have a lot of health. This stage boss in this game is like really simple to beat, but you still gotta of course, watch yourself, because taking a death anytime here, you'll lose a cross until the next stage.
Yeah, as long as you can tank 1 hit, you should be fine against this boss.
Paula Ghoul
and Fred Astaire.
Yeah. Gotta love these names for these bosses a lot of times too. Or so-called bosses.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a boss.
Yeah. Stage 7, the good old library here. You'll be seeing. Go ahead. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's nothing too fancy in the library. Just introduction of more pits and voids to try and avoid. But there is the book jump coming up, which is one of the tightest jumps in the game. Not only do you have to get a pretty small pixel window to set up, but it's also a pretty small frame window to hit the jump as well. I think you have like 2 or 3 pixels to set up on, and only like 3 or 4 frames in order to get the jump. And he gets the low X too, so
yeah. If the Axe Knight, if the Axe Knight spawn could throw either high or low, ideally you want the low, so that way you could actually get the damage boost to get to the books. If he were to shoot high, you're only losing a little bit, but that's it. Nothing big. Nothing big on that. And it's really RNG too.
Yeah. You don't lose too much time. I think it's like a second and a half if you don't get the low axe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one thing about this stage, especially for any speedrunners, no matter what level, intermediate like myself or advanced like DD and Rouge here, this stage is really graceful with meat. So in case you're taking way too much damage on parts, you could actually break some of the walls and they'll spawn like big, large meats. So you can actually continue going on.
A bunch of spots for that. You do have to keep in mind that certain wall meats are always meat, but other ones, if you don't have your triple and you do have a sub-weapon, it's going to spawn an upgrade for your sub-weapon instead. So if you've died and you're on a different sub-weapon, just be mindful of that.
Yeah. Sir Crackle, he actually stand a chance, you know. He's pretty sturdy a little bit here.
He survived the first volley. That's pretty amazing when it comes to bosses.
Yeah. Alright, stage 8. Oh
no.
Oh man.
It's a good way to sort of show just how dangerous spikes are in this game. Not all Castlevania games give you the ability to just take a hit from spikes. In this game, it is a one-hit KO. Even if you touch the side of the spikes too, which I always thought was funny. It's like, who put poison on the side of the spikes?
Yeah, right? Yeah. And for a lot of us, especially in the CB4 community, it is nicknamed the stage hate in this game.
Yeah, this is where damage boosting goes to a whole other level. Varush tried to use a damage boost from the eyeball, giving him invincibility frames to try and make it through spikes, which are one-hit kill. And he just barely missed getting past it before his iframes ran out, and he ended up taking the hit.
Yeah. Just gonna attempt again, which this time is a success.
Yeah, that looked good. And the eyeball, nice.
And the eyeball boost, that's really good. Yeah. In that part, you can actually jump under the crushers. It is a frame perfect, like one frame jump.
Yeah, that'd be kind of risky looking at how many lives he has as well.
Yeah.
You still got to make it through this level and the rest of the game too. He'll probably get one up here, maybe at the end of this stage, start of the next stage. At about 70,000 points, he'll get a 1-up.
Ooh, man, look at that, stairs.
Yeah, stair issues. Normally, he doesn't hold on to the stairs when you want him to, but sometimes he won't let go either.
Yeah. Kind of proves sometimes that even Simon himself has a fear of stairs. Stair of heights and stuff.
gonna have to wait out the cycle on these spikes. He was trying to jump over that eyeball and then use a drip to boost through the spikes. But it's one of those things, if you don't hit it the first try, there's not really a backup. Like, there are a couple backups, but they're also kind of risky. And Vegas Bridge was actually very kind, letting him get through the stage. Just has to take down the monster.
Your little Frankie. And now we're out of that hellhole in that stage.
Time for my second favorite song in the game. I love the Treasury soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah, first part of the Treasury is nothing too crazy. Just a lot of skeletons everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, indeed.
And with skeletons, they've got a fairly wide range of possible movements they can do. They can go forward, they can go back, they can throw a bone. And when you're on a screen with, like, 3 or 4 of them, oh no, he slipped on the edge. Yeah, if there's like 3 or 4 skeletons on the screen, good luck trying to find the right route through it. It's just very difficult to figure out exactly how they're going to move for you.
Yeah. Coming right up here, I don't know if Rouge is going to go for it here, but there is a backup cross, which he will get.
Yeah, that was a really good setup. It's one of the backups where, like, if you're doing PB attempts and you die like that, you're probably just resetting. But as Bruce has shown with his race prowess, he knows a lot of backups. So if things go wrong, he knows how to get that cross, which is actually really difficult to get without the bat getting in the way. Alright, and he has this double cross, which is all he really needs to make it through this next section safely. One of the most scary checkpoints in the entire game.
Ooh, took damage boost there. I think it was unintended, but
yeah, it looks like he's gonna have to kill this bone dragon.
Yeah, if he didn't get the damage from there, he would actually go. Go through a damage boost here. Speaking about damage boosting, if for those who are also safe, you could actually farm meat and respawn the meat from the screen there if needed to, especially for those who are still not comfortable with the stage for any reason.
Yeah, stage 9 is kind of interesting because it's got 2 sections where you can farm the meat there that he just passed, and right here too, which we are going to see from Prush.
Yeah. He'll definitely need to get some health, especially for the upcoming boss here, the Zaf Bat. Especially if you're not careful with it.
Yeah, Zaf Bat is one of the few real bosses in this game. He's gonna take quite a few hits just to get him through his first phase, and he's too high up for you to be able to use your crosses at all.
24 hearts. It's definitely good.
It's kind of too many, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because your hearts will count down at the end of the stage as well. Just like other Castlevania games. So you kind of want to finish a stage with minimal hearts. Nice slow kill. Now the crosses are going to work. And voila. Yeah, you kind of want to time killing him in his first phase on the 22nd hit when he's low enough that you can start jumping and throwing crosses right in his face. That's your ideal situation for that boss.
A backup one, the backup strat, if you kill him like way up in the top of the screen, the bats actually will swoop down all the way into the ground where you could throw the triple cross there, which tends to be my thing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody
Getting-
Tears hype.
Bloody Tears hype indeed. Stairs doesn't want to cooperate with Rouge Day. Because he could actually get onto the little platform.
Lucky that he got boosted forward by that skeleton.
Yeah.
Backwards boost is very dangerous there because the stones he was stepping on, just like these ones here, they'll crack and then fall.
Ooh. Getting the backwards boosts.
Yeah, he was trying to get a forward boost on that Medusa head. There's a way to get through the gear a little bit quicker, and then you can actually get an early snag onto the rings and just finish that room generally on an early cycle. But it's very difficult to get. And fatal if you mess up.
Alright. Gonna take the little damage boosts here to avoid all that. It's way better than killing them piece by piece. Because the dragon heads takes about 6 hits.
Nice ring grab.
Indeed. Gets a
Saves having to walk up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Just one more tight jump over this guy. He's good.
Coming up here is the Mummy. Mummy is pretty random on where it wants to spawn.
Yeah.
The ideal locations that you want it to spawn would be the far left, or the far right. It gives you the opportunity to one cycle the enemy.
You got the worst spawn. Bandages from the middle, they can come down, touch the back of you, and boost you into the void. That's something that you don't want to have happen. Not only do you die, but you lose your triple. You have to fight the boss whip only. And that means like at least 4 cycles.
Yeah. Luckily, it's on the good side. So,
Yeah, on to the last stage.
Stage B. Vampire Killer. Of course.
Yeah, so he basically used the falling blocks there at the end of that first screen to get into the stair transition the very, very quick way. It's a little bit scary to go for because, like we were saying before, if you fall through the stairs, like Simon tends to do, then, well, obviously you die, you end up in the pit. But if you move the same way every time there, then your setup should prevent that.
Yeah. Alright, the climb here. In this part of the stage, besides doing the climb, you also want to try to get as much hearts as you can to do the last stage. There's going to be a boss rush.
Yeah.
3 big bosses before Drac. Slagra, Gaibon, and Death. The real boss of the 4 is actually Slagra. The other 3 are they're no pushover though. I would say they're not like, the stage 1 bosses that we saw with, Coronado or, Freddy Paul Abdul or anything like that. So
yeah, the big thing with Slogger is he's got a couple like random potential movements, and when you're trying to throw crosses, you can't really get yourself into a safe position. So if he chooses to hit you, he's going to hit you, and you just kind of have to hope that he doesn't juggle you around so you're still able to throw crosses and overlap them. Because this is one of the few bosses with invincibility frames in the game.
yeah.
Solid fight so far.
Mm-hmm.
Really what he's trying to do is overlay crosses so that when he comes out of invincibility frames, there's 3 or 4 hits on top of him, and it just takes away a lot of health, which normally wouldn't happen for this boss otherwise.
He walked into the room for Slugger with 36 health, which is like barely, which is really the bare minimum that you want, because that will get you at least what you need to go through at least all 4 with in just one go, and that's just that's him having so much faith in his boss fight strats, because especially for like the Drac fight, it's gonna
picking up some meat. He should be good on a heart count for the rest of the run, as long as the death fight goes smoothly. So that first cross was a timing cross, and then if you time your whips to take out Death's projectiles, you should be able to, yeah, nice fight.
Shred him down with those crosses.
If you can kill Death anywhere near the middle of the screen, you definitely had a really nice fight.
Indeed. So, going up here, he'll get a 1 last piece of meat and 10 additional hearts if he chose to do so. Luckily, in what's different about this stage is especially if you actually die for any reason, they actually just spawn you with the bosses where it's at, and not like at the beginning where you have to go through the whole gauntlet again. So once you get to the boss rush, that's where it's like, hey, you made it.
These Drac spawns not being very kind. You kind of want Drac to spawn somewhere in the middle so you can overlay a bunch of crosses. Looks like he's working towards maybe a 7 or 8 cycle Drac fight. Ideally, you want a 6, and I know a 5 is possible. 5 is really tough to get, though.
Yeah,
and
that's also like Drac, and that's also like Drac have to cooperate with you as well.
Yeah, if Drac spawns too far to the left or right, you just can't quite get the mileage out of your crosses that you want. And GG's.
GG's.
Sub-estimate. Of course, with this game, the timer doesn't actually stop until you pick up the final orb.
So, 37:57.
So I'd definitely like to say thanks to Varouche for giving us a good run of this game. A couple deaths happened, but overall you got a really good chance to see a lot of neat speedrun strategies and just like general quick movement through the game. And I know there's some more Castlevania coming up right after this. I think there's Castlevania 1 and Rondo of Blood as well. You're commentating Rondo, Shin David?
I am doing commentary for Rondo.
Nice.
Because I'm a runner of that one too. It's a really fun game. We'll talk more about it when it gets to Rondo, though, for sure. But yeah, pleasure doing commentary with you, DD.
Yeah, anytime. If you guys really find Castlevania 4 fun and entertaining, if you check out speedrun.com, you can look at all the leaderboards for the game, and there's a link to a Discord, so if you're just having any trouble or anything, you can always ask some questions there. We're always really friendly, and there's lots of different questions, not just about Castlevania 4, but all the Castlevania games. I'm off to work. Good luck with the rest of the commentary, Shin David, and thanks Speed Gaming for doing an English restream of this awesome marathon.
All right. Until then, we'll see you in a bit. See you guys. Don't forget.